Nike is being investigated by the federal government over allegations of systemic race discrimination against white workers, including through its DEI initiatives. Nike told Front Office Sports, quote, "This feels like a surprising and unusual escalation."
The federal government is looking into Nike. Systemic racial discrimination is the accusation. The proof: there was a significant shift in their staff from 2020 to 2021. And there's a narrative in the numbers. This is where things get tricky, though. While some players received whole campaigns, Caitlin Clark waited for a t-shirt for a year and a half to is it a coincidence? Not in the opinion of the EEOC. Additionally, the time frame is posing some important queries. When did you last watch a business sit on its biggest star and wonder what was actually happening behind the scenes?
Caitlin Clark went crazy her rookie season. A question we all were asking ourselves: where's Nike during this? Why isn't there any promotion from Nike during this? No marketing, no commercial? What's going on? No t-shirts, no merch? What's happening? No signature line yet? Can somebody fill me in? Now, Caitlin Clark came out recently and spoke about the creative process with designing a shoe. Fair enough. Maybe that's the reason for the holdup. But companies like Nike, they might let you feel like you're the one in control of the creative process, feel like you're in control of holding things up. But in reality, there is a bigger...
Caitlin Clark's debut season was nothing short of spectacular. She shattered records, packed arenas, and dominated ratings. She became must-watch television. Yet, amid all the hype, one question kept coming up. Where was Nike? Where was the promotion? The commercials? The merchandise? The signature sneaker? For months, there was nothing. The brightest star in women's basketball and her sponsors seemed to pretend she didn't exist. Eventually, Nike began to roll things out. Merchandise dropped. The logo showed up. Caitlin shared insights on designing her shoe, portraying herself as the one steering the timeline, making it sound like delays were about her pursuit of perfection. That's a fair narrative. Companies often frame it so you feel in control, even when the real decisions come from them. But even if we give them the benefit of the doubt on the sneaker, what about everything else? Why did it take over a year just to release a t-shirt?
Let's get right to the press release from the EEOC. Federal agency seeks court order for information related to systemic race discrimination allegations that athletic footwear and apparel giant discriminated against white workers, including via Nike's DEI programs. St. Louis. The U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission announced today that the federal agency filed an action in federal court to compel Nike to produce information related to allegations that the company discriminated against white workers, including as a result of Nike's diversity, equity, and inclusion related 2025 targets and other DEI-related objectives. According to the EEOC's court filing, the agency is investigating systemic allegations of DEI-related intentional race discrimination, specifically that Nike may have engaged in, quote, a pattern or practice of disparate treatment against white employees, applicants, and training program participants in hiring, promotion, demotion, or separation decisions, including selection for layoffs, internship programs, and mentoring leadership development.
We may now have a response, but it's not a positive one. The federal government is looking into Nike. In order to compel Nike to provide information on claims of systematic racial discrimination against white employees, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission filed a lawsuit in federal court. The EEOC is specifically looking into allegations that Nike's diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives discriminated against people based on their race in violation of federal law.
You think if these allegations are happening at the base level, the hiring level, the training level, the promotion level, it's not happening at the marketing level, it's not happening at the, okay, well, she might be the biggest star, but DEI initiative, we got to put this person in front instead. Up, DEI initiative. We got to put this shoe at the back burner and put this shoe at the forefront. Up, DEI initiative. We can't waste our resources making a commercial for the biggest star. We can't do that. We have to put all of our resources in the... Let's give the benefit of the doubt for the shoe. Could this explain why the merch took for so long?
Let's examine the specific claims made by the EEOC. Nike may have discriminated against white employees in hiring, promotions, demotions, separation decisions, layoffs, internship programs, mentorship, leadership development, and other career possibilities, according to their allegations. This goes beyond a single individual being passed over for a promotion. This is a systematic issue. The inquiry dates back to 2018. They are examining how Nike collected and utilized information about the race and ethnicity of its employees. They are investigating if executive compensation was determined in part based on race. They are looking at 16 distinct groups that reportedly offered mentoring depending on race and career development. Opportunities.
EEOC's investigation and subpoena sought information related to these allegations, with some requests going back to 2018. Information sought included criteria used in selecting employees for layoffs, information related to the company's tracking, and use of worker race and ethnicity data. Back to the logo. Well, we only saw the logo when we saw the logo. We don't know how long that logo was actually out there. We don't know how long that logo was on the table. We don't know how long that logo was just hanging around until somebody said, okay, we'll show her this now. We have no idea. We don't know how long they decided on the logo and then waited and waited and waited and waited and then put out the merch. We don't know. We just don't know. Information related to the company's tracking and use of worker race and ethnicity data, including as a factor in setting executive compensation, and information about 16 programs which allegedly provided race-restricted mentoring, leadership, or career development opportunities.
Nike's reaction was telling. They told Front Office Sports this felt like an unexpected and unusual escalation, which, in corporate speak, basically means they didn't anticipate getting caught. The truth is, the EEOC doesn't open investigations randomly. They need strong evidence that something is off. In this case, there were corporate admissions and extensive public documents suggesting Nike's DI initiatives may have crossed into illegal discrimination. Chair Andrea Lucas was explicit. Title VII's ban on race-based employment discrimination is meant to be colorblind. It requires the EEOC to shield employees of all races from unlawful practices. With the current administration prioritizing civil rights enforcement, the agency is now examining whether Nike's programs violated those protections. And here's the link to Caitlin Clark. If discrimination occurs at foundational levels, hiring, training, promotions, do you really think it stops there? Is the marketing team exempt? Are those deciding which athletes get visibility operating in a vacuum, separate from overall company culture? Consider the timeline. Caitlin had one of the greatest seasons in recent WNBA history. Nike did almost nothing. No ads, no signature line, no meaningful merchandise. Meanwhile, another league superstar received full campaigns, high visibility, and abundant resources. The distinction? You probably already know. Bloomberg News examined Nike's U.S. workforce and uncovered dramatic shifts at every level between 2020 and 2021. Executives, managers, professionals, and junior roles all saw changes. The company's demographic composition shifted noticeably. White employees experienced net declines, while other groups increased. And this isn't speculation or a random Twitter chart. It's verified Bloomberg data documenting real adjustments in hiring and promotion practices. If these shifts were occurring across the workforce, why wouldn't they influence marketing choices? Why wouldn't they affect which athletes receive campaigns, which ones are prioritized, and which are sidelined? Caitlin described the creative process for her shoe as if she were the one slowing things down in pursuit of perfection. But companies are masters at making you feel in charge when you're not. They let you attend meetings, offer input, and feel engaged, while the actual decisions are happening elsewhere for reasons you'll never see. Let's grant Nike the benefit of the doubt on the sneaker. Maybe it genuinely takes time, and maybe Caitlin is fully involved. Fine. But the merchandise? That doesn't require a year and a half. A t-shirt doesn't need months of design work. And when Nike finally released Caitlin Clark merchandise, what did we get? A black hoodie, a gray hoodie, some pants. Comfortable? Sure. Good quality? Fine. But nothing innovative, nothing that required real creative effort. The first t-shirt simply listed her records on the back. That's it. The simplest, lowest effort approach imaginable. Just text on fabric and done. Compare that to what other athletes receive. Full campaigns, imaginative concepts, full marketing support. Caitlin waited a year and a half for a t-shirt that amounted to a stats list. That's not thoughtful design. That's neglect. Then there's the logo. We only saw it when Nike chose to reveal it. How long had it existed before that? How long sat on someone's desk awaiting approval? Was it designed months earlier and left idle? Was it shown to Caitlin and then ignored for no reason? We simply don't know, but the timeline raises questions. Nike can structure deals to block other companies from working with an athlete without ever actively promoting them themselves. They can sign someone, compensate them, and then shelf them, keeping them off the market while failing to actually invest in their visibility. It's a calculated approach. And if decisions are being driven by DEI quotas instead of who's actually generating results commercially, that strategy starts to make a lot more sense. The EEOC's inquiry requested details about the criteria Nike used for layoffs. They asked how the company tracked race and ethnicity data and sought information on 16 programs that allegedly offered opportunities based on race. When Nike failed to provide all the requested materials, the EEOC took the matter to federal court to enforce compliance. That's not routine. It signals the agency believes they have a substantive case. Now, DEI initiatives aren't inherently negative. Ensuring equal opportunity regardless of background is positive. But when such programs cross into providing preferential treatment based on race in a way that breaches federal law, that becomes a serious issue. That's exactly what the EEOC is examining.